Malcolm Perry's story began plucked from the stands. Today on Senior Day, he enters a captain. An elimination game in the regular season. It's a biggie in the American West. SMU takes on Navy. 2 weeks to go in the regular campaign. 3 teams tied atop one of the best divisions in college football. Memphis has USF, SMU, and Navy a date with each other and destiny. Good afternoon, John Sadak alongside the Hall of Famer and Randy Cross. The stakes are high in this one, my friend, and the emotion peaked for Navy. It's Senior Day for 32 midshipmen.
Yeah, it's such a big emotional day here for these seniors for Navy, and these two teams are coming in completely differently. SMU coming off a bye, getting some rest. Navy coming off one of the worst beatings they've taken in a while in Notre Dame. I'd make a pretty good argument that you shouldn't show the tape to either one of these teams, because SMU may get too overconfident, and if I showed it to Navy, they might get depressed about what happened to them last week. Better to just forget it, John.
For Navy, 20 points off turnovers for the opponent all year. Last week, 4 fumbles lost, 4 touchdowns for the Irish.
Yeah, if you blinked in that first quarter, you missed them getting down 21-0. It was really something to see, and from soup to nuts, it was as bad a performance as you've seen, not only putting the ball on the ground, but blown assignments.
Malcolm Perry, though, has been dynamic with 100 yards today. He would tie the program's single-season record for most 100-yard games on the ground in a season. SMU, they have a mighty big 3.
Yeah, you remember the old triplets with the Cowboys down in Dallas? Well, Dallas has got another set of triplets with Buechele, Jones, and Prochet putting up some pretty prolific numbers, especially the graduate transfer from Texas. He's been the big difference maker, Buechele.
So as the head coach, Sonny Dykes has flipped his team. 90 players are on this team now that weren't on this squad when he took the job just a couple of years ago. It will be a very different mindset for Navy in this game. There was a big rallying cry in the wake of the loss to the Irish. For more, let's go down to Sheehan Stanwyck Birch.
That's right, John. Navy coach Ken Niumatalolo told us that the loss to Notre Dame was humbling. Immediately after the game in the locker room, he told the team they had to learn from it, move on, shift their focus to SMU. Don't let Notre Dame beat them twice and play for the seniors. He told them, we do not lose on Senior Day. And that was a phrase that we heard echoed in our meetings with coaches and players this week as Navy prepares to send the seniors outright and add to their 16 straight victories on Senior Day.
Appreciate that, Sheehan. We have heard that quite a bit from a number of players and coaches. Also, everyone talking about the weather. Expect some rain on the back half of this game, and temperatures will be diving a deep autumnal chill. It'll be the 21st all-time meeting. Navy at 1.18 in a row, but that was snapped last year when SMU went for 2 and took the win in overtime just last season. SMU won the toss, elected to receive, so Navy will kick, and there's been a tweak since we saw Navy last, Randy. And they have Bijan Nichols, their primary place kicker for extra points and field goals, now handling kickoffs as well.
And he's going to be kicking to this SMU team. Most teams defer. Well, Sonny Dykes is not a defer kind of guy. Sort of out of the Mike Leach school of when in doubt attack. He'd rather take the ball and go for points.
Getting the ball high in the air, part of the reason to have Nichols kick. That's pronounced against C.J. Sanders, the Notre Dame transfer. A great return man who lets this one skip on through. A touchback gets us underway. Now Nichols does his job. Time now for the Chick-fil-A starting lineups. And Sonny Dykes wants the ball because he's got a QB that has made all the difference, the Texas transfer, Shane Buechele.
Yeah, he really hopes getting Shane Buechele in here sets up a pattern for him in this program. All the transfers they've had, this is the most impactful transfer they've had. And if he can keep this going, getting grad transfers at quarterback, what a huge boon to this program.
5 touchdowns a couple of weeks ago against ECU. Swing into the backfield. There's James Prochet, the FBS leader in catches, and what a stiff arm to Evan Fockman. Kevin Brennan finally makes the tackle. They pick up a couple. The starting lineup offensively for the rest of SMU, no Reggie Robertson Jr. We knew that at the start of the week, Randy, but no Myron Galliard either. 2 impact wide receivers. And again, to Crochet, latching on, Diego Fagot rips him down, only 2 yards. 3rd down and 6.
Yeah, Sonny Dykes and this offense, they love pace. They, when in doubt, go fast, and failing that, go faster. They'll snap the ball most times within 12 to 15 seconds of the last play.
Needing 10, Buechele. Fires, caught! Tyler Page! Only had 12 catches on the year entering the game, and they climb the ladder. 30 yards and a 1st down.
That's the problem with blitzing. They brought 5, brought the extra rusher. You're going to have zone behind it, but it's not enough.
And here's tempo with Jones. Buechele trying to sell it, showing the throwing motion. Fagot denies after a yard. Healthy respect, Randy, between 2 rising talents at the coordinator spot. Rhett Lashley, 2nd year with SMU, the OC. Brian Newberry, 1st year DC with Navy. Each nominees for the Broyles Award as the top assistant in college football.
And rightfully so. Both of them done amazing jobs. Lashley bringing more of a run emphasis from this pass-heavy offense.
A lot of Gus Malzahn influence and shades of Auburn. What a cutback ball on the ground! Pile ensues. Mike Flowers helped jar it free. Who's got it?
It looked like SMU had gotten back on the ball, but now
Navy ball! SMU only had 4 lost fumbles all year entering the game, by far the fewest in the conference.
High and tight is where the ball should be. That is not high and tight. And Pittman knocks that thing out. Great job of going after the ball when it's available. When you have the ball low like that, it's great to be able to say you've got it.
So now the Navy offense on the field. And Sonny Dykes spoke at great length with us. A very cerebral, calm, incredible coach who's had great success in multiple stops. The need to get used to Navy speed in this offense. Malcolm Perry is speed in a big way. A couple of blocks. And then piercing through, the pressure brought, and he's brought down by Trevor Denbo. Starting lineups brought to you by Chick-fil-A. Malcolm Perry, we touched on it at the top, Randy, came out of the stands to make his collegiate debut, and here he is, QB1, the captain.
First true year as a starter. I mean, they committed to him after the Army game last year, and that decision has paid off.
He did have 3 of the 4 fumbles last week, but Ken Niumatalolo said only 1 was truly Perry's fault. Mel Carruthers in at fullback, Perry hopping through, and a pile on top of him, gets 3 to the 29. Patrick Nelson the stop. The rest of the offense for Navy, including Carruthers out there nursing a bit of a gimpy ankle this week, Randy.
Yeah, keep an eye on 34. If he can't go as a normal bolting through the middle of that offensive line, it's a big part of that offense that's gone.
Top 25 of the country on 3rd down. Pass complete. Michael Cooper, their biggest target, gets the first. Brandon Stevens the stop, 10 yards.
Nice confident throw by Malcolm Perry. Puts it out to his 6'5" wide receiver. Puts it out on his outside shoulder, well away from the DB.
And there was Carruthers holding a block. Give him some of that time and space. Right up the teeth of the SMU defense. About 5 for Carruthers. Zach Abercrumbia in on the tackle there. This defense for SMU, Randy, 2nd in the country. 42 sacks, tying the program record.
Yeah, I think really the emphasis in this game will be on Pono Davis, 51, the nose tackle, and McBride, the inside linebacker. They've got to button it down.
2nd and 3. Perry trying to find the right edge, takes a wild hit. Danced along the line by Patrick Nelson, and Delano Robinson brought the harder contact, only a couple of yards. And Dykes talked about Navy's possession early last year, Randy, when they had an 18-play, 11-minute, 21-second drive.
That was the better part of the first quarter.
3rd and 1. Navy's already called 2 timeouts in this, the first quarter of the game.
So far, SMU's doing a pretty good job of getting to those junction points and threatening them.
Streaming services determine this one. And it will be another first down. C.J. Williams wants more. Solid tackle there by Patrick Nelson, but another big play.
These are the kind of plays that Malcolm Perry has shown the most growth in this option, because when he gets out and flips it, he's gotten more accurate with his flips, and he's also making that decision-making process so much quicker, which makes it easier on that back.
C.J. Williams known for his exceptional speed and athleticism. After a 21-yard play, 1st and 10, and Perry wants to throw. Pressure comes, he lofts it. Warren, incomplete. Looking for the athletic Chance Warren, but Robert Hayes Jr. and Cameron Jones were there.
Quite a few in attendance. Probably thought there was a little bit of early contact on that one on Warren, but I'm not sure how catchable that ball is. That angle was kind of deceiving. That ball was well over his head.
They haven't been gun shy with Perry, though, early. Taking some shots with the pass game. It's been dominantly Carruthers in the backfield. Perry, a later pitch. A couple of big blocks on the edge. And Makekau had his bell rung earlier, taken out by Cameron Jones after 9.
Yeah, it's getting to the vital part of this schedule. 5 games, counting the bowl that they're going to play in left. And Ivan Jasper, if he can get a healthy Makekau, that really adds to his arsenal.
Oddly enough, Makekau still without a touchdown. The junior who's been a big playmaker. Tight formation, Perry needing a yard. And it looks like he's got it to the 25. That'll move the chains, good for a first. Randy, you expected to see a lot of tighter formation in this game against Sonny Dykes' defense.
Yeah, I mean, this is a let's bring it, let's get bruises kind of an offense to start with. But after that embarrassment last week against Notre Dame, go back to basics. Go back to what you do well and what you know. And Navy football is a lot of things, but one thing they are always is physical. And they've got to out-physical SMU.
Perry's been changing quite a bit under center. Tried to sell the fullback dive there. Earns 3 himself. Let's take a look at Perry. All time, he's one of the greats. He is perhaps the most electric player in the history of the program, right?
Well, he was their most electric ball handler for the last 3 years at least, if not 4. He wasn't always a quarterback, though. I mean, he was an A-back who was their fastest guy and their most dynamic player. And now that he's a quarterback full-time, he's still their most dynamic player. But he always gets to handle the ball now.
Strong high praise from the coaching staff. Reverse to Warren. He has a blocker in front, Ford Higgins. Another block from Michael Cooper, and Warren finds pay dirt. Touchdown, 22 yards.
All right, Chance Warren going to come around here. Look at him give ground to avoid the defender, and now it's all over. He's got Ford Higgins out in front of him. Higgins gets a nice block. That clears the way. Cooper also blocking out there, but kudos to Ivan Jasper. What a great call by the offensive coordinator.
Only his 4th rush of the year. Nichols, the point after, drills it.
Well, we talked about Ford Higgins and his block. Now, if you're a wide receiver, you got to hold that block a long time. And look at Cooper. That's about a 6-second block.
Chance Warren, 22 yards on a reverse pitch. And my man, Randy Cross, called it at the start of the 2nd possession. He asked, "Do you see Chance Warren on the field?" Got a feeling something's coming.
He's a dynamic player that can do a lot of different things. He can not only run like that and catch really well, don't forget he can also throw the ball.
Very capable. Only his 4th rush of the year. He had 28 yards rushing on the season. Goes for 22 on one play and a touchdown. C.J. Sanders, he's dangerous. Few take it that deep in the kick return game in college football, but he can. Sanders. Pass Nichols. C.J. Sanders' 6th career return for a touchdown, 100 yards.
So that's why you were talking about a return for a touchdown earlier.
I told you, man. It's been a while. I didn't know how it would come or when it would come.
Well, I tell you what, that is look at the execution. Look at the blocking. I mean, it's not bad coverage. It's really good concept by Sonny Dykes special teams. Beautiful blocking and execution. And that was a good case of our guys a lot faster than your guys, and they ain't going to catch them.
They had a 98-yard kick return touchdown last year, 100 here. Kevin Robledo, the point after is good. Sanders had 3 kick returns and a punt return for touchdown as a member of Notre Dame. Navy said, don't let Notre Dame beat us twice. Well, Notre Dame transfer just got a TD, tying it up.
Well, if you're into answers, if you're one of those guys that always has an answer and always talks back, this is Sonny Dykes, SMU Mustangs. This is their talk back. You want to drive long? You want to score a little grinder on us? We got a little something fast for us. How about that sky cam? How great is that shot? That's a beautiful view of one of the most gorgeous and exciting plays in college football. Is a great kickoff return.
Nichols had taken over the kick-off duties for Ken Niumatalolo last week against Notre Dame. Believes in his leg, thought he gave them a better chance. And J.R. Osborne, who had the surprise chip field goal to win it against SMU 2 years ago, a game that sent Niumatalolo's team to a bowl game. He had been set to be the kickoff man, but was hurt in game 1 last year and got hurt again this year.
Well, Nichols just got welcome to the whole idea of kicking off on that one because he had 2 blockers hunting him down. He was the last line of defense, and he's not quite used to being the last line of defense.
Charles Cannon just grabbed the kickoff duties for SMU. He was not in fall camp to begin the year. And a fair catch wave for Garrett Wynn.
Yeah, I think most coaches, especially these air raid coaches like Sonny Dykes, they're about motion. They're about getting it going. They're about speed and pace. They're not about too much about their late strategy.
Well, maybe about throwing the ball early too. Perry open target, caught. Makekau chipped down by Armani Johnson, 32 yards.
Now watch this pretty pass. This is a great view. He's going to loft this up and just let Makekau go run underneath it. Makekau running away from the defender. Perry put that ball in the perfect spot.
We're through a quarter, and Malcolm Perry has more yards passing than Shane Buechele. SMU's offense, an electric kick return. Navy on the drive, an emotional senior day, even at 7. Inside the helmet of Malcolm Perry, a new look. Let's check in with Sheehan.
Malcolm Perry this year, we really see firsthand how he's been able to emerge as a leader each game. He seems to get more and more comfortable. Last week against Notre Dame, he had a tough game along with the rest of the team, but he told us that he'd moved on. He'd learned from those lessons, and you can see today that he's definitely put that in the past.
Appreciate that, Sheehan, and also a new haircut that he was rocking when he came into our meeting room.
Now, do you call that a haircut?
Well, the lack thereof.
They got all of them.
Well, as a proud member of the bald community, Randy, yes, I do call it. There is the look. I welcomed him to the club. But also congratulations, of course, to Malcolm Perry and to all these seniors on their service assignments. And Malcolm Perry, Navy team that's held the ball for over 10 minutes, and yet it's tied. Gets hit as he gives the pitch to Carruthers. Carruthers slipping through. Gets about 5. Taken out by Pono Davis.
He looks a lot cleaner today with his head. That Jacoby Rice first did the haircut. He left some patches of hair, but he told us that he was going to go see Perry Olson to finish the job, and he was all clean today.
Appreciate that. He was going to let all the quarterbacks get in on the fun, including his primary backup, which that does make at times for some confusion. Malcolm Perry, Perry Olson. Here are the numbers from the first quarter, which I would call a win for SMU.
Oh, there's no doubt. There's no doubt. 10 minutes of possession.
Perry trying to shield that football. He is so elusive. Takes a hammer of a hit, elevating Gary Wiley and Pono Davis, and he gets 14 yards.
You know, if you'd have told Sonny Dykes that his offense wouldn't have scored in the first quarter, but he'd still be tied 7-7, to your point, he'd have said, oh, great, give me that all day long. Now his defense has got to start tackling this guy, Perry, a lot better.
Big target, Michael Cooper, matched up with Armani Johnson. Right inside to Carruthers, gets stood up. Does get about 3. Richard McBride leads the drive. Navy, by the way, with that Perry run, now has 100 rushes of double-digit yards this year, the most in the country. They do, of course, lead the country in running the football.
And that really is a testament to two things: this coaching staff and their ability to coach this option offense and this offensive line that's really come together and had a heck of a season.
Cooper given a buffer, bottom of the screen. Carruthers, not a whole lot. SMU strong up front, only a yard there. Delano Robinson, a lot of activity for Robinson and Patrick Nelson, two of the leading linebackers for this SMU team.
Well, against this option offense, you're going to see a lot of defensive ends and outside linebackers crashing down, crashing not only on the fullback but also on the quarterback. That's why he's got to pitch the ball so quick on these option plays outside.
Sonny Dykes and his D coordinator Kevin Kane work on Navy's offense year round. On 3rd and 6, it's hard to replicate Malcolm Perry. He's going to get 4. Pono Davis trips him up. So 4th down and a couple of yards. What do you think?
Well, I'm with Higgins, the center, 72, saying let's go for it. I think you go for it here.
Here's another 41-yard try from Bijan Nichols. He has missed from 41.
And he pushed that one.
That was wide right, kicking off the left hash. Now kicking right hash.
Tennessee to overcompensate.
And Nichols, the calm drill. The freshman responds and puts Navy on top 10-7. Ken Niumatalolo had the offense on the field, but the flag made the decision. A field goal.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this
10-7, Navy on top. A 41-yard field goal by Bijan Nichols. Downstairs, Sheehan standing by with retired U.S. Marine Sergeant, and here representing Folds of Honor, Rocky Sickman.
Thanks, John. Rocky, tell us about this Folds of Honor organization. It's so amazing.
Sure, Sheehan. Since 2007, Folds of Honor, an organization that provides scholarships to families of fallen and disabled military, have provided over 24,500 scholarships. So support from your viewers out there. Go to foldsofhonor.org. It's very important.
And you've been serving the Marines. Thank you so much for your service. What made you want to get involved with this organization?
You know what? It's back to 1979 when I was held hostage. I found out in 1980 that there was a rescue operation to try to regain our freedom. When I came home after 444 days later, she and my girlfriend, which is now my wonderful wife, 38 years, she told me about the individuals that lost their life. Every morning I wake up, I never forget those 8 people. And so the men and women this Thanksgiving season, as we sit back going home and having food with our family, there are men and women around the world pointing their weapon at the enemy so that we can live in a free society.
What a wonderful message to remember this season. Thank you for your service. And as you said, freedom is not free.
Thank you, Shan.
Appreciate that, and certainly appreciate the service as well. Fair catch there by Tyler Page. Better job, it seems, by Bijan Nichols to avoid C.J. Sanders. And now Shane Buechele can get out on the field and have a chance to run his offense a little bit. Sonny Dykes said the biggest difference year to year for SMU, the consistency from quarterback. On the ground, Xavier Jones, who had the fumble earlier, taken out by Diego Fagot after 4. SMU has one of the big-time offenses in the game right now, Randy.
Yeah, they really do. That's because they are pretty balanced. Good running. Jones is over 1,000 yards. They like to flip it around. They've got to get the ball in Prochet's hands, number 3 again. That's the guy this offense goes through.
Off the pump, Buechele fires, open target, got his tight end, Kylan Granson. He's fresh off 3 TDs. And a $138 last time out, gets 34 there.
Well, I was thinking Prochet, so was the defense, but they dragged Granson behind Prochet, and he's wide open there in that little hole behind the corner and in front of the safety.
Freeman, it's a physical runner. Pinballed off Brennan. The second wave finally dispatches of him after 3, including the active McMorris.
Wow, very successful play. The left side of that offensive line didn't necessarily block great, but Freeman, by just basically his effort, got those yards.
Freeman again trying to bulldoze, able to fall forward, carrying Jackson Pittman for 5. You can see the physicality he runs with.
Well, there's 2 carries where he was hit either at 1 yard behind the line of scrimmage or at the line of scrimmage. First contact, he made 9 yards in those 2 carries.
Battled a shoulder injury in the middle of the year that slowed him. Buechele motions out. Could the direct snap come? It will. And Freeman, this time Navy, sniffed it out.
Another 4th down. They'll go for it.
Well, no gain. Denzel Polk part of the pile. Paul Carruthers in there as well.
Great job by the Navy defense not going for the cheese. Sonny Dykes brought that motion with his quarterback, a direct snap to his running back. Navy never blinked.
Sidelines getting fired up. The brigade as well. 4th and 2.
Normally you'd say run, but look, this is the shotgun. This is a throwing offense. They're going to chunk it. Watch the tight end, 83, Granson.
We'll get a timeout first from SMU.
And remember, last time they had this 4th down, that combination of Prochet and Granson was at the bottom of the screen. Granson was inside, Prochet was outside. They lined up there with Granson outside and Prochet inside.
This game is massive import. These are the teams ranked in the CFP poll. Out of the group of 5, the top-ranked group of 5 representative. Out of the New Year's 6, the Cotton Bowl. The American champion has been the representative the last 2 years and 3 of the last 4.
Yeah, the outside favorite right now would be Boise State, but remember these 2 that are right here at the top of the West. Neither one of these was picked to be in the top 3 in the West. One was picked 4th, one was picked 5th. So these are pretty remarkable jobs by these coaching staffs of both these teams.
Memphis, the favorite, does own the tiebreak over each of these teams. On the ground, lots of space for Xavier Jones. Hard hit from Cameron Kinley, but 11 yards to move the chains.
Oh, look at the job done on the outside. Tell you what, I love that left tackle, Jalen Thomas, number 71. He's got a little bit of a nasty streak for Sonny Dykes.
Jones gets the ball again. Why not explore that left side? Gets to around the 9-yard line, a little more than 2. Paul Carruthers, another stop.
Yeah, between Thomas over there and Howerton, that's a heck of a combo on that left side.
Alana Lee, the center, Howerton, the left guard, entered the off week for SMU with the most snaps played in college football. And it's up to Brian Newberry and the Brain Trust to deny, which gets a little easier in this part of the field, right?
Well, it shortens the field down. These style offenses have less at their disposal the shorter the field gets.
They show pressure on the near side. They bring it. Springer, Buechele forced to step up, trying to protect the football, and gets hit by Diego Fagot and Paul Carruthers. Only a yard, 3rd down.
Nice job by Carruthers, 51, the linebacker. You can see him on the upper right side of the screen. He fills up because Buechele is running. That time he's running to run, getting out of the pocket. Good job by Carruthers filling.
Buechele with Jones in the backfield. Look out for Granson on the right side of the line. Buechele. Prochet wide open. Prochet outside, and he's in. Touchdown SMU. James Prochet. A receiving touchdown in 10 straight games, extending his own program and conference record.
Well, this SMU offense, you know eventually they're going to bite you. They hadn't scored in the first quarter. They get this possession, and they've got an answer. Now we start getting into that points is pressure thing. because they start scoring, you better have an answer, because when they get the ball, generally speaking, they're going to put points on the board.
And the extra point as well from Robledo.
Well, Prochet gets that ball, and if you look at it, it looks like he could just go right straight ahead and score. He goes with the speed around the corner. That was pretty nice, and nice blocking outside. And the role this offense has gotten on for SMU, if you're Navy, you not only want to hold the ball for a while here, you want to guard the ball high and tight. Don't fumble and do not put the ball in jeopardy. SMU will make you pay.
Charles Cannon's kick. Here's Garrett Wynn. Strong return man, not a whole lot there. Perry following Carruthers. And SMU is controlled up front fairly well. There at Zach Abercrumbia, the Rice transfer, 2 yards. He is one of nearly 20 FBS transfers on this SMU team.
Yeah, and defensively, they've done a nice job of this offensive line of neutralizing this downhill running offensive line of Navy's. When you see the quarterback tackled by a D lineman, that'll tell you.
Perry pressured and sacked. SMU has a new program record. That'll be a loss of 8. Make it the 43rd sack of the season for the Mustangs.
Yeah, it's one of the sackingest teams in college football. Look at the great job. You disengage that quickly. You know, Nesterowitz, the right guard, just gets dealt with and discarded, as does Honecker, the right tackle. So D lineman getting into the backfield that quick, that equals sack.
Abercrumbia was honorable mention All-Conference USA and a captain at Rice. Now part of the puzzle for SMU, one of the best in the country, trailing only Pitt. Perry forced to throw. He's pressured. He's down again, and that's real close to the end zone. He's officially going to be down at the 2.5. Loss of 9. Tyson Neal's in there. That was nearly a couple of points.
Yeah, it's not immediate pressure, but it's eventual pressure. And we've seen Carruthers, the fullback, on a few occasions do a nice job of pass blocking. That wasn't one of them. That linebacker got right by him, and he was the first guy to hit Perry, the quarterback.
So Owen White buried deep in the end zone. Navy had allowed 10 sacks all season entering the game, 2 biggies. And a great return man, James Prochet, the wideout. White gets it off. Prochet forced to roll. And the ball bounds out of play. Prochet unhappy, but still dynamite field position after a 39-yard punt.
Yeah, great field position. And Sonny Dykes and SMU, remember, when in doubt, attack. Here comes attack of the Mustangs.
But a surprise here today, right? In terms of identity?
Well, yeah, identity. SMU is being who they are. Navy is trying to be somebody else, and it's costing them right now.
Jones in motion, fake it to him. Buechele has time, steps up and throws. Open target. C.J. Sanders, who swung the game with his 100-yard kick return, picks up 32 in the air.
See, you run drop-back passes and you get sacked. That backs you up. That gives SMU in this attacking offense excellent field position. It's going to cost you 6.
Xavier Jones shedding hits, getting blocks, in standing up. 10-yard TD and a lightning quick drive for the Mustangs on a short field.
Yeah, this offense just loves to stretch you out sideways. You get stretched out sideways, not only the run, but also the pass. I mean, this is their offense. This is what SMU tries to play and how they try to play. And right now, Navy's playing right into their hands.
A 22-second drive.
Those are usually good, by the way.
An extra point. Clean from Robledo.
How about a 1,000-yard rusher to go with this team that loves to throw the ball so much? Xavier Jones. Wow. Where's Mrs. Jones? Because Mr. Jones is busy.
This is a biggie in the American West. One of the best divisions in college football. Fair catch wave. Smart move there by Garrett Wynn. Ken Niumatalolo knows SMU won the toss, elected to receive. Navy's got the ball to begin the second. You would assume just the knee here. Sonny Dykes certainly pleased with this first half. No Carruthers, not a whole lot. Turner Cox steers him down after 4, and we're through 1. It's Sonny Dykes, his first ever journey to Annapolis. A pretty darn good first half for SMU.
It is. The magic number for Navy is about 30 points. When they score over 30 and rush for over 300, they usually win. Well, they're rushing pretty good, but they're just not scoring.
We are through one half of play, and the weather likely to worsen. 21-10 SMU. When we're back, the CBS Sports Network studio, the Ram halftime report. Back in Annapolis, a big one in the American West. At the break, SMU up 21-10 at Navy. John Sadak, the Hall of Famer, Randy Cross, the first half. Big part of the story, SMU intensely physical, dominant in this game.
Yeah, specifically Kevin Kine, their defensive coordinator, has moved 2 defensive ends, Choate and Paul, and they're out as the outside linebackers. And right now, this SMU defense, though they got up to a rough start, is kind of raising a welt on the Navy D offensive line. And Sanders' 100-yard kickoff return really sort of started things, because before that, Navy was off to a pretty good start. Crochet took that one on the outside for 6.
Xavier Jones in as well. First half stats brought to you by Polaris. They don't really tell the story, do they?
No, they really don't. I mean, time of possession, you expect that. Total yards, yeah, check. Rushing yards, that's, you know, I would say what? Below average for Navy? But you'd look at the stats and you'd say, well, yeah, this is a 14-10 game except for a kickoff return. But I know physically Navy has had it taken to them, and Sonny Dykes' football team has done a great job of execution. They've out-schemed Navy.
They also had a week off to not just rest up, but to fine-tune. Fair catch wave. The Navy's got the ball to begin the second. Word from the coaches. Let's check in downstairs with Shea.
Thanks, John. Sonny Dykes from SMU thought they were doing a great job defensively, especially eliminating Malcolm Perry. They want to do a better job on the pitch. In the second half, focus is on taking care of the ball. Coach Nate Machalolo for Navy came out of the tunnel a little late, very calm. He thought the guys were too riled up, too much emotion. He said they need to settle down, one drive at a time, and just stop being so uptight.
Appreciate that, Sheehan. And that's something that spiked on senior day. And it feels like for the academies, Randy, it's heightened even more than many other environments. Perry, a later pitch, C.J. Williams behind Make Cow. Out of bounds, gets 8. This is what Navy did in the first when it had the football.
You just have to execute against this kind of an offense, because if you miss a possession, if you miss a turn, don't get a long drive, they're going to get the ball back and they're going to score on it.
The missed field goal, by the way, could be a one-score game. But a 41-yard miss and a 41-yard make for Nichols. Their first down run for Perry, who in the first half, 13 carries, 14 yards, Randy, thanks to lost yardage on a couple of sacks.
Well, a little bit of a different tone in these first couple of plays. I tell you, the first play, Higgins, the center, just blew Pono Davis, the big nose tackle, off the ball. And that's something we didn't see at all in the first half.
Ivan Jasper certainly wants to see that physicality ratcheted up. First down, they show pressure near side. Navy runs that side. Perry high and tight. Perry. He's got 8 yards. Brandon Stevens gets the stop. The UCLA transfer. Armed Forces football proudly supported by USAA.
Good note there on the high and tight. You could really see that left hand. He had that ball crammed up into his shoulder pads and armpit. He wasn't going to let that thing go. They weren't going to rip that one out.
He had 3 fumbles last week against Notre Dame. All resulted in touchdowns for the Irish. Carruthers, his most physical run. It's a bruising effort of 4 to move the chains.
Well, if the fullback's getting a physical run, that means those guys on the right side, Nesterowitz and Honecker, are coming off the ball and getting really good blocks, and that's exactly what happened there. We haven't seen that very often.
Saw Cooper getting coached up on the sidelines. He's their most physical wide receiver, 6'5". Perry the fake. Perry finds some time. He's got nothing. Coverage great. He gets helped out of bounds there by Richard McBride.
Well, that's the problem with this style of an offense. When you do go to throw, what are your options? Well, you're not going there. Mitchell's not open. And intermediate, that was covered too, so Perry didn't have any choice but to kind of try to get what he can out of it. Sometimes you just got to put a little mustard on it and eat it.
Cooper back in. He's going to be matched up with Robert Hayes Jr., giving him a lot of ground. Perry on second down, floats it wide open. Williams, the back pedal grab, shoved down by Delano Robinson.
Really nice play design by Ivan Jasper, the offensive coordinator, and way to deliver it. C.J. Williams running backwards as he caught that pass. Continued going backwards and somehow did not go out of bounds.
Able to tippy-toe for 33 yards. So here's down and goal from the 7. What do you think?
I've talked about answers a lot so far today. This has to be a touchdown answer by Navy. Has to be.
Perry cuts it up. Perry knocked down by Rodney Clemens. He sidestepped McBride. 5 yards.
Remember, this is a quarterback who's 5'9". They list him at 190, 85, 90. He's not a big bruiser, but that is deceptive power, because those are some pretty good sized defenders that aren't able to grab him and bring him down.
Power fullback is in, Nelson Smith. Big package here. Toss to Nelson Smith. Yanked down hard by Delano Robinson. He's been all over the place. No gain. 3rd and goal.
Yeah, Delano Robinson, you've got tackle over. You've got extra beef there. And look at Robinson, just gets there and makes that tackle.
He's been banged up. Was offered a chance to go to Air Force, chose SMU. Feels like 4-down territory, 3rd and goal. Perry keeping, turned aside. SMU right on the doorstep, a half-yard shy.
Yeah, they're going to go for it here on 4th down. There's no doubt. They're not going for a field goal here. Perry almost was able to turn sideways and squeeze his way in.
That was Terrence Newman who got him, the sophomore, who among his offers was recruited by Navy. A lot of SMU players offered by the midshipmen, who are great in the red zone. Second to Oregon State, getting touchdowns this year.
Normal formation.
Perry over the top, the launch, and he's in. Touchdown, Navy.
Well, that sky cam was the perfect angle for that play. Good execution. Inside, Higgins, good block. Left side, excellent job. And that's just a want-to play by Malcolm Perry, a quarterback for Navy, getting that ball over for 6.
He had 14 yards rushing, Randy, in the first half. He had 19 on that drive, including that big half yard for TD.
Yeah, now that is an answer.
Kicking the extra point here to make it 4. A lot of time to go.
Well, you think back on that drive, it all started with that pass down the right sideline to C.J. Williams. Dropped it right in there, the backwards catch, the backwards run, and then finished off by the quarterback keeper over the top by Malcolm Perry.
Massive lead in plays, yards, and time. SMU, though, has a 100-yard kick return for a touchdown by the electric C.J. Sanders. Sanders, the deep man. Bijan Nichols is had a mixed day. Second week that he handles kickoffs, and they send this one on the ground. They fake it to Sanders, a keeper there by the wideout Tyler Page. He duped the Navy defense, and it's Nichols who helps him out of bounds. Supreme field position for the Mustangs, a 44-yard return.
You think the return team is obsessed with Sanders? A quick little fake handoff, suddenly off to the races. What a nice call by Sonny Dykes and the rest of his staff on the special team side. Wow, that's beautiful execution. And this puts Navy defensively right back on their heels.
How aggressive should Brian Newberry be calling his defense?
You need a big play, but you don't need to give up a big play in the first 2 or 3 plays of this half. So I'd say not very initially.
Buechele loading up. Buechele, the heave, incomplete. Overshot C.J. Sanders. Michael McMorris was there in coverage.
Well, Navy brought the blitz, and Buechele had the little short, and there's Newberry right there with the beard and the headset on.
Very hard on
They brought the blitz, little short roll, little better throw. That would have been 6 points.
Some confusion here. Play clock down to 4. Does he get it off? Yes. Buechele. Nothing there. Incomplete. Looking for Rasheed Rice. Pressure from Paul Carruthers in the backfield.
Well, he got that thing off right at the 0 as it came up, and Carruthers made him throw that a little bit before he wanted to.
Sonny Dykes upset, although he and the rest of his coaching staff have praised Buechele's willingness, eagerness to get hit. 3rd and 15.
Bringing 6.
Hit as he throws, incomplete. In the backfield, Diego Fagot, and the Navy defense arrives in a big way. 4th and 15.
Yeah, they brought 6 there and put the pressure on Buechele. That was a good exchange for Navy. Remember that big kick return. That's going to set the Navy offense in a big position. But that's an excellent job by the Navy defense of turning back SMU and making them punt. Now, can the SMU have another answer? We're talking about answering on offense always. How about the defensive answer?
It's the second 3 and out from the Navy defense. Trevor Denbo's punt. Bounds into the end zone, a touchback. Well, Malcolm Perry in the offense, a chance to grab the lead. Out of the gates, got a TD to begin the second half. They're back to the field when we're back. Perry looking to throw. Floats it out, finds his target. Ryan Mitchell, big block from Warren. That'll be 20 yards.
Yeah, great play design. Warren's on the left outside. He runs the cornerback off, and you bring the running back across the formation and flip a little pass out to Mitchell. That's really nice.
Nelson Smith was out there. He's remaining in the game here as the fullback.
Something you don't see too often out of Navy, a first down pass.
Trying to catch SMU off guard a bit here. Momentum is swung. Perry looking to throw again. Now running, and he's got speed. The wheels on display right through the first hit. Popped out of bounds by Rodney Clemens, 13 yards.
Yeah, if you've seen many games of this Navy football team and Malcolm Perry, you know if you don't keep this kid in the pocket, he is going to make you pain. He's going to give you pain. He can get out and go.
Clubber Lang here. And Perry under center. Perry, the later pitch. Makekau handled that well. That was in a great spot. Cameron Jones, Brandon Stevens help him out of play.
Yeah, really important with Malloy out for Makekau to be more effective. And there's Cooper with a sling on his shoulder, so we won't be seeing him either. So Malloy's out, Cooper's out. Time for the backups to step up.
There are the numbers. Navy just over 200 on the ground. Nelson Smith gets fed, gets stood up, forward progress denied. Once again, Delano Robinson, a couple of yards there. A lot of personnel change here for SMU, Randy. They're trying to keep their bodies fresh.
Yeah, they're changing in and out 3-4 players every down. What they're trying to do really is guess along with Ivan Jasper and Ken Niumatalolo. They go heavy, they go light. They go heavy, they go light. Heavy thinks run, light means pass.
Sounds like me in the holidays. Malcolm Perry, pass to Delano Robinson, whiffs on the tackle. And Perry knocked out of bounds by Trevor Denbo.
Well, doesn't matter if you're heavy or light, if you get in the backfield like Pono Davis and you whiff on Malcolm Perry, see you later, bye. And luckily for SMU, we get a helmet and a shoulder on Perry's hip and knock him out of bounds.
How athletic is he? How did he handle that landing?
He stuck it.
Yeah. Perry cuts it up. He's willing to take the hits there from Denbo. Whistles Blair.
And Fort Higgins, his center and fellow senior captain, not really excited about the way that SMU is trying to finish off his quarterback there. Fort Higgins also another one of the seniors that are going Marine ground.
And one of the captains, I think in their first game, Malcolm Perry was in the stands with a brigade. Higgins was on the scout team at Play JV, along with his high school friend, captain on the defense in Cromartie. Or in Carruthers, rather, and Cromartie was on kick coverage in that game. Now they're all big impact players. Perry, huge impact, but lost his footing. Some contact there from Delonte Scott. That'll be 3.
Yeah, part of that was Delonte Scott, and part of that was Turf Monster. Watch the foot. Yeah, that was just Delonte Scott did a nice job. He just tried to take a corner a little too tight, and his treads wouldn't take it.
3rd down and 4. Perry to throw. Instead, tries to cut it up, and no, sir. Delonte Scott again with late help from Robinson. That'll be loss of a yard. 4th down. What do you think?
I think you go ahead and kick a field goal right here. Go to 21-20. Got 4.5 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter. Make it a 1-point game. The 1-point game number is a lot better than that 4 number. Because when you're down by 4 and then the other guy scores again and goes up by 11, that's 2 touchdown lead.
Here's about a 24-yard try from Nichols, who had only missed 2 field goals all year entering the game. He's missed 1 today. The freshman, clean. A 1-point game. 2 years ago, it came down to a field goal. Last year, overtime, a point so far. A lot of emotion on senior day. 32 seniors in this year's class for Navy. Senior day game has been a win 16 consecutive years for the midshipmen. Kendi Maltololo's offense settled for a field goal. Malcolm Perry was pretty hot with Ivan Jasper, and Kendi Maltololo wanted to go for it.
He wasn't having it coming off the field. He let him know he wasn't happy not going for it on 4th down.
SMU's average starting field position has been just short of midfield. Here they fake it again. Page keeps it once more. It worked last time around. Works fairly well here. He gets swung down violently just shy of the 35. Late adjustment up front by Navy. They bring the pressure. Buechele steps up. And he's dropped down at around the 37, gains 4. So on this quarter, Randy, that's only the 4th play for SMU for -1 yard. They've held the ball for 40 seconds. Navy's had it for 10.5 minutes.
Remember, the first quarter or so of this football game was very similar.
And 2nd down, the sidearm toss. Aggressive arrival by Mikey McMorris. Knocks it free from Prochet, incomplete.
Now here's the big down for this Navy defense. For them, 3rd down is life. They give that little shark fin.
3rd down is the only down, the sign that's plastered everywhere in the defensive office.
Showing 7. Actually showing 8 coming.
Buechele pump. Buechele fires! Incomplete! He was dropped down after he released that ball. 4th down.
Yeah, that's the difference. When Buechele has run to pass, Navy has hunted him down, and the coverage down the field has been really good. Now, that's a little bit of a flop. He didn't really get hit. Brian Newberry enjoying the defense by his guys, and that not only was just the rush doing their job, man, the coverage down the field did a really good job.
It's 3 3-and-outs for the Navy defense. Denbo. No fair catch here. Win. And just too many numbers there as SMU all over it in coverage, including Garrett Cho.
We're talking about the 3-and-outs. That's 2 in a row starting the third quarter. That's how you answer. That's defensive answer. That's offensive answer.
Here's the pitch to Williams. Big block from Malloy. Williams can cut it back up, running behind Forney. Turner Cox trips him up after 7.
Wow, talk about some quick hands. Did you see the great job that SMU did again, penetrating the backfield? But then Perry flips this ball out. Watch this flip. I mean, goodness gracious, that's got to go right by your nose. It's right in front of you, and he gets it to the running back for a big gain.
That was Patrick Nelson, the Illinois transfer, right in his face.
One of those defensive ends that are playing outside linebacker today.
Perry. That hole collapsed quickly in the launching contact from Pono Davis. He still gets 3. That's going to move the chains. The scores the last 2 times around, that's been since the second half arrived.
And a lot of that is just based on one simple thing. And obviously Ken Niumatalolo and Ivan Jasper, nice play calling. But Sonny Dykes will be the first one to tell you when he watches this tape that start of the third quarter, Navy's offensive line has been much more physical than the first half.
Malcolm Perry. Coverage just too good, and he's going to get sacked again. Turner Cox. That'll be a loss of 4.
Now there's an example of a quarterback that is kind of used to being a runner. Because not only did he maybe have Chance Warren down the field, in that situation when that pocket starts collapsing like that, a passing quarterback probably puts that ball in the third row and doesn't take that loss.
Looked like Warren went off a little awkwardly there. Remember, they're down to Michael Cooper, it seems, too. He's got his arm in a sling. Perry on the run finds Mitchell. What a catch! How did he hold on? 15 yards.
He didn't throw that one on his fingertips. He threw it on his fingernails. He had to reach so far. Caught the back half of the ball and just barely got that in his possession before he went out of bounds.
Is he pinning that on the side of his neck going up the field? Look at the difference in first downs here. The inside run, Nelson Smith. He's the more bruising runner. Finally lassoed down by Abercrombie after 15.
Well, look at the job that's being done right in the middle of that offense. Great job by Forney on a trap block. He does a really nice job, yeah. If you look at this, watch the left guard come across, and look at this block. Something this line has done better and better at. That is putting your helmet in the middle of the defender and putting him on the ground.
Perry now more yards passing than Buechele. Navy is out-throwing SMU by total yardage.
And still trails by a point.
And up 200 on the ground. 100-yard kick return, big part of it for SMU. Perry, later pitch. Turf Monster nearly got Makekau, but he kept his footing. Clemens tackles him after 9.
Another example of a hair's breadth kind of a pitch. Defender's right in Perry's mug, but he gets that ball out to Makekau. And Makekau, the benefit of quite a few nice blocks out in front of him. And he got that kickstand down and was able to keep on his feet.
Take a shot here, 2nd and 1. Perry. He'll just run and take the first down and more. And Perry lassoed down by Brandon Stevens, gets 17 yards.
Well, right now, SMU be the first one to tell you what a difference a half makes, because they're getting a lot of pressure. And to end this third quarter, Malcolm Perry gives Sonny Dykes and his defense another little something to think about going into the fourth quarter.
The margin of error grossly thin. A game of massive import in the West. 1 point difference through 3. The fourth on the other side. Let's take a look at the game summary brought to you by Grow with Google. What do you see, partner?
I just witnessed a near whitewashing in the third quarter. That's the most important stats, because you see how skewed they are towards Navy, though Navy only has that 1-point lead to this point. They did everything better than SMU that last quarter, especially hold on to the ball.
SMU 4 total yards in the entire third quarter.
0 passing.
Perry cuts it up. Shields spins off contact. Swung down by Rodney Clemens after 5. Perry has asserted himself dramatically as the offensive line has picked it up.
Yeah, as the line has blocked better in front of him, it's just given him more chances, more creases, more areas to try to jump through, because there were no cracks in this defense in the first half.
Perry to Nelson Smith, loses the football and then falls upon it. Incomplete because that was forward.
They're going to call it an incompletion. Clearly a forward pass. Luckily for Navy, that didn't get batted back towards the field of play. End up into the air.
And while Nelson Smith is a physical bruising runner, his hands are his weak point. Ken Niumatalolo.
Well, Carruthers, the other fullback, came into this game with a bit of a dinged ankle.
Right.
And he wasn't very effective. They weren't blocking that well, but he wasn't running very effectively.
Perry finds Mitchell. Touchdown.
That is a great play design by Ivan Jasper, because the defense isn't expecting it. Here's Mitchell. He's going to drag across this way. Probably the most important, impressive part is you see him throw the ball right through a leaping D lineman's arms.
2-point conversion try here. What do you like?
Well, the way it's been going, you'd say a pass, but I think one of those well-timed pitches or pulling the ball down and keeping yourself for Perry.
Perry throws open, conversion. C.J. Williams, and it's a clean touchdown margin.
Now the numbers are where you want them. You're now up by 7. C.J. Williams coming off the side. Perry delivers the ball. All set up by that beautiful pass by Perry through the arms of Gary into the end zone. Now the 2-pointer. That's some execution.
Senior day, the ceremony. Malcolm Perry surrounded by his parents, his dad Malcolm, his mom Bonnie. They served a combined 40 years in the Army. They knew that Malcolm was destined for service. He spoke of it early in his young life. And he has directed a Navy offense that has found second life in the second half. 18 unanswered points to take the lead.
Yeah, this is a totally different football game and football team from the Navy side. What is the answer coming from Sonny Dykes and SMU? Because right now they had better answer.
They've had the ball for less than 2 minutes since halftime. Here's a bit of a gamble from Tyler Page. With the aid of misdirection, he'll get stood up and dropped at the 15. A terrible decision to try to bring that back, and Marcel Gleaton gets the stop. 18 unanswered points. SMU shut out since the break. Swinging it out. Crochet, a violent stiff arm there on Evan Fachman. Gets 13 yards. A lot of time left in this game, Brady. A lot of time.
Oh, there is. Almost 14 minutes now. That's four possessions at least.
Xavier Jones following the block from Jalen Thomas. Gets dropped by Jarius Warren after 7. It doesn't feel that way for SMU, though. They've only had the ball for less than 14 minutes.
Yeah, but right now it's got to be quality, not quantity. They've got it now, and they got to do something with it.
Xavier Jones again, not a whole lot up front. Gets 2. He's going to be short. How bad was it in that third quarter? That's it.
That was the third quarter.
The entire third quarter. Very capable offense.
Remember, the yards and the time of possession have been way out of whack against Sonny Dykes this entire game. And for the better part of 3 quarters, they held the lead.
And if pistol depth, the handoff gets a couple. That'll be good for the first. And the OC, Rhett Lashley, helping to call the plays there. Played quarterback for Gus Malzahn at high school. Won 40 games as a high school QB to set the record. Injury arrived when he played in college. Buechele spun down by Diego Fagot. And that'll be loss of a yard.
And Lashley, one of the 2 coaches in this game, nominated for the Frank Broyles Award, going to the best assistant coach. And the other side, Brian Newberry, the defensive coordinator, whose defense just made that big play.
Each has massive respect for the other and spoke of the need to make adjustment after adjustment as the game wears on. Empty, Navy showing pressure against 5 wide. They're going to bring it. They get a runner. And Rice has room. Navy gambles. SMU wins. 61 yards and the first touchdown for the freshman.
So that answers that answer. Ken Niumatalolo, and Navy goes down, takes a 7-point lead. Sonny Dykes and company come right back with that attacking, fast-paced offense. Despite a play or 2 by the defense, they were in attack mode the whole time.
Didn't even need 2 minutes. Point after ties it up.
You know, if you're going to live by the sword, you're going to die by the sword sometimes. And if you're going to be an attacker on defense, sometimes you have to risk the fact that if you miss a tackle, it's going to cost you a touchdown.
Oh, put it on the ground. SMU wants the ball. Navy pounces. Not caught. Travis Brannon fully aware and ready to pounce, and now Navy's got a short field. Big gamble for SMU.
What a smart play. Brannon just waits for it to go the required 10 yards, and to see the way that he was aggressive and he dove out for that ball. Nothing you can do as a coverage team, but Brannon was right there, and as soon as it went those 10 yards, he wasn't waiting for it. He jumped on it.
Makekau is out there. Perry to throw on first down. Hit as he throws. A lob. Dangerous ball. Incomplete. Looking for Carruthers, and Brandon Stevens had it whistle past him.
Having said that, clock doesn't run much when you throw, especially when it's incomplete. There wasn't much of a chance of a completion here.
That's 2 dangerous balls from Malcolm Perry recently. The rallying cry from Ken Niumatalolo right after they lost to Notre Dame. Navy doesn't lose on senior day. Williams, nothing. What a great job of tackling by Brandon Stevens. The UCLA transfer has been dynamite.
He really has been. The former running back has taken the defensive back very, very well. He tackles extremely well and has very nice instincts, and that really causes a 3rd down where not only did you pass on first down, odds are you're going to be passing here on 3rd down and not running much time off the clock. SMU will get the ball back if you don't get a first down right here.
Maybe you struggled on 3rd down today, but Perry's got space. Malcolm Perry. 3rd down. How about a touchdown?
Well, John, I don't mean to be a wet blanket, but I'm going to be anyway. There's good news and there's bad news. The good news is Malcolm Perry on 3rd down just went the distance on a long touchdown run. The bad news is SMU still has 6 minutes and 11 seconds left to try to answer that touchdown, and goodness knows it doesn't take them long to answer.
70 yards for Perry. Nichols, a big point after. Movement up front from SMU. Richard McBride went early, but Kenny Amatololo says, give me my point. Malcolm Perry has made a point with that freshly shaved head, even more aerodynamic.
Not real complicated. Malcolm Perry is going to take it down. He sees a crease, and then he just goes. Cuts it back. As soon as he clears the official, that runs over. It's a touchdown. This guy has done one heck of a job today.
As dynamic a playmaker as you'll find. And there, a deep kickoff by Nichols. Out of the pistol, you can see the breath of Buechele. Motion from Rice. On the ground, Xavier Jones, nothing. Kevin Brennan was in there along with Jackson Pittman, only a yard.
You know, worst case scenario, you get your best pass rusher, who is either Springer or Cromartie, and you put him against that replacement.
It looks like they put Bo Morris from right tackle to left tackle. Only a three-man front for Navy. Now, the new man is actually at right tackle with tight end help. Three-man rush, Buechele. Finds Brochet, Springer trips him up. He gets 12 yards. That'll move the chains.
Yeah, the problem with not attacking against this defense or this offense is they do have a guy like Prochet that can, and the quarterback gets the ball out of his hands so quick.
Darius Smith, the junior, is the new man at right tackle. There's Prochet, makes the first man miss. Good job on the hip. Mikey McMorris holds him to 5. He does get out of play.
Yeah, this offense, they move, what's the word, alacrity? They do move with much alacrity.
Maybe adjusting, showing a crowded front. Buechele wants help from the sidelines.
Plenty of time, just at 5 minutes.
Pressure comes far side. They run opposite. Shoulder into the contact from Xavier Jones. Jarius Ward and Jackson Perkins combine to swallow him up. He gets 4.
Right at the down marker, so it's going to set up a third and really short. So this is 2 downs to get this short amount of yards, a little less than a yard.
Ryan Newberry's out of the seat. Xavier Jones is past the marker. He's got the first into the clutches of Kevin Brennan for 5.
We talked about that right tackle that moved to left tackle. Nice job working against Cromartie. Nice job on that left side in general, setting Jones up for a chance to get that first down.
These matchups in recent years have been thrillers. Navy won it on a last-second field goal a couple of years ago. SMU in overtime last year. As he gets the ball, but he didn't have it. Buechele had it. He got me and the defense. That's 15 yards. Kinley finally the hit.
Well, you saw Fagot coming off the edge on that blitz, and he smears Jones, but Buechele pulls it out and gets a nice run down the field.
And here comes tempo. Sanders spins off Brennan, and another hit. Carruthers misses, and Fagot soars to chip him down after 15.
Well, in case you're curious, why do you keep throwing all these little bubbles out here? Well, you're pretty good at blocking, and the other thing is you've got a kick returner at wide receiver.
That could be part of the puzzle. Xavier Jones, that right side, turned aside. Cameron Kinley there. He gets a couple of yards. 3 timeouts for SMU, 3.5 to go.
I'll tell you one thing that's becoming a little bit of an issue on this last possession here. Tackling for Navy. Navy is not tackling very well, and against this kind of talent from the skill positions, they can make you pay pretty quick.
Buechele motions out. Do they dare throw? Xavier Jones, the ginger stride. Carruthers, the first hitter. Carter Bankston there as well, 3 yards. 3rd down. It's coming down to this, my friend. These two teams, 1 loss apiece in the league, each to Memphis, which is rolling USF. The winner of this game has a lot to play for next week. Could be division champs and on to a championship game.
2 downs for 3 yards.
Navy brings it. Buechele throws it one-on-one. Incomplete. Looking for Prochet, matched up with Kinley. 4th down.
Second nature for this offense. You take your chances. I mean, that was thrown right on the fingertips. Just barely off. That little contact probably prevented that from being a completion.
2 units led by rising coaching stars. It comes down to 4th down and 4. Branson's had a big drop at tight end. They're down 2 wide receivers who didn't make the trip.
Blitz is coming.
The throw off the backside of Kinley, incomplete. And the Navy sidelines go bananas. SMU in stunned disbelief. A big hold on 4th down.
Brian Newberry, the defensive coordinator, decides he's going to attack Rhett Lashley, the offensive coordinator for SMU, and see what kind of throw his quarterback, Shane Buechele, can make. There is nowhere to get that ball. If that's a back shoulder throw, that was thrown into the back shoulder of the defender. Kinley doing an excellent job. And there's, look at that box go a little crazy. Now don't forget, John, you brought up the point. 2 timeouts for SMU. Remember how short that last possession was for Navy. You're backed up. You need at least 1 first down, maybe 2, to really run this clock out and make this game over, because they do have those 2 timeouts.
Perry following Nelson Smith. Gets shouldered down by Denbo, gets 8 yards.
Now the question is, at what point do you call that timeout? At least that first one.
After that kind of a chunk, let it roll here, right? You gotta take that gamble.
Look at the play clock. The play clock is now at 25. You're going to let this clock go all the way down. Malcolm Perry, it's been either yelled in from the sideline, he's been told, get the play clock down. Bleed this clock.
Navy has won 16 straight senior days. The winner can still challenge Memphis for the West. Perry gets a couple there, and that spot will be good to move the chains. Rodney Clemens the stop. And no timeout coming here.
So now the pressure's on SMU and Sonny Dykes. I think he's got to take a timeout here pretty quick.
And you're conceding another 20 seconds. Going to get down to the 1:14 mark. Ken Niumatalolo's doing the math.
Well, this is the sweet spot for Navy. Navy loves this kind of a game. If it's about running in the clock, that's right up their alley.
Perry. Oh, twisted on that hit by Delonte Scott. It's going to be a loss of 2.
There's timeout number 1.
SMU stops the clock. 1:13 left. Out of SMU's called timeout. Perry reversing field. Slips through the hit from Delano Robinson and slides into home plate up the sideline. Where do they spot him? It looks like just short. It's going to be just shy of 10 yards.
They marked him just past the 30-yard line, about the 31, which sets up 3rd and 1.
Oh, his left foot. So 3rd and 1.
That was like an extra timeout in Sonny Dykes' pocket. Stepping out of bounds there.
Freezing the clock with 1:09. 1 timeout for the Mustangs. Perry trying to turn it up. Gets hit by Rodney Clemens. Where does this spot come? It looks like no gain.
Wow, that play ran off exactly 2 seconds from snap to hit to timeout.
Another timeout, SMU. No timeouts for either team. Offense on the field. Do you agree with this?
Everything Ken Niumatalolo has done today, everything we've seen him do since the sun went down, has been about pushing all those chips into the middle of the table. Here's another example.
Hard cadence from Malcolm Perry. SMU flinched, but Navy moved as well. Who went first? Each sideline believes the other committed a penalty.
The far official looks like he had the offense moving, and the near official looks like he had the defense moving.
Offside. Defense from the 23. In the neutral zone, causing the offensive player to react. That 5-yard penalty results in a first down.
And that is the game.
Here we go. Watch the offensive line. Nobody moves there. But right there, Honecker, the right tackle, he moves, but he's drawn off, and the first movement is definitely on SMU. And it bears mentioning again, this team, Navy, was utterly destroyed last week, physically and emotionally, by Notre Dame. And to come back home in this situation and come away with this kind of a win, this is for the seniors. Kennedy Maltololo will be the first one to tell you that.
And Malcolm Perry, a dynamo in the second. His playing career on this field comes to a close. A bowl game still possible down the road, but a win like this means the Military Bowl is probably even less likely for Navy, and greener pastures will likely arrive. The clock hits 0, and Navy makes it 17 straight wins on senior day. One loss in league play for now. Up at the top by itself. Memphis only a couple of minutes away from taking down USF. Downstairs, Shane Buechele with the emotional Ken Niumatalolo.
Coach, another major comeback win. You guys look like a different team from first to second half. How'd you pull this out?
Our players played hard. That number 10, man, the guy's unbelievable. The defense came with some big stops in the second half. To their credit, we played really well in the second half. It's a really good offense, hard to stop them. And on the other side, you know, number 10 made a ton of plays, made some pass plays, but give credit to SMU. It's a good team, but we're happy to come away with the victory.
Amazing. 17 straight wins on senior days. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Ken Niumatalolo entered tied with George Welsh for the second most wins over ranked teams in program history. He snaps that deadlock with the win here today. Navy takes down SMU in 2019 and remains in the thick of the division chase. For the Hall of Famer Randy Cross, Sheehan Stanwick Birch, and our entire crew, I'm John Sadak. This has been a presentation of CBS Sports Network. After the break, Marlins Park, Miami, FIU, presented by Geico.